You know, the polite thing to do when someone gives you any amount of money is to say thank you instead of complaining it's not enough. So, thank you to everyone who supports the habit at patreon.com/doseofbuckley. See? It's not so hard. If I had a time machine, I'd use it to visit King Henry VIII and say, "Oh man, let me tell you about the future. I can summon a man to bring me food at any time of day, morning, noon, or night, and it's prepared and delivered to me in often less than an hour, even in the middle of the night. Or, if I choose, I can go to a place of business that serves food and alcohol, make demands of how exactly my meal is prepared and what beverages I want, and have the staff scurry around at my beck and call to placate me. Oh, also, I don't have to shit in a pot and wait for someone to remove it from my bedchambers. We have a thing called indoor plumbing that magically whisks your feces away from where you eat and sleep." And King Henry would go, "Why, you must be the most powerful man of your era. You must command massive amounts of land and many scores of people." And I'd say, "Me? No. Man, I'm a fucking jester who doesn't even own the property I live on. I live in a building with 200 other people stacked on top of each other." Perhaps I've gone on a similar rant before, but we live in an age where almost every peasant enjoys more conveniences than effectively any king throughout history. But we still manage to bitch about it. Now, one of the more, let's say, controversial topics around the subject of being able to get whatever we want whenever we want it is tipping. Tipping is a largely American tradition, which of course makes it superior to any other system in the world, god damn it. It's not done in other countries because other countries, the fucking suckers that they are, decided to just pay their employees a fair wage. But in many places in America, and I mean North America, Canada's not pretending to be superior in this discussion, the government literally made rules that state, yeah, if you allow your employees to accept tips, you don't even have to pay them any legal minimum wage. Your customers pay your employees, not you. Which leads to tipping being seen as mandatory. And in fact, if you don't tip the right amount, you get publicly shamed. How is there possibly anything left to debate about tipping in America? 20% or you're a cheap bastard. End of discussion. I remember when 20% was like baller showing off for your date tipping. Like if you left 20%, the girl would be like, "Oh my god, you're so generous. Please, I can't even wait until we get back to my place. Please fuck me in your car." At least that's what a bunch of losers who went home alone and jerked off after giving a waitress too much money thought would happen. But now, apparently, it's just what's expected. This tweet was sparked by another one that went viral. "LMAO, I fucking hate Europeans sometimes, on God. This table just left $70 on a $700 check after chilling for hours. My manager even asked about their service and they were over the moon about my service, so he explained the customary tip is 20%, and they were like, okay, and left." Again, the Europeans are wrong, America is right. Now, how many hours are all caps hours? 3? If so, $23 an hour for one table on top of your regular wage is pretty good, I'd think. If they were just chilling, presumably you were able to work more tables at the same time. Or if you weren't and there wasn't anyone else in the restaurant, then if they didn't show up that day, you'd have made nothing. But you see, here's the problem, as people in the replies point out. $70 isn't really $70. But if you rack up a $700 tab, the server has to tip out based off that. 6% drink sales to the bar, and 3% total sales to bussers, etc. Suddenly, what you consider a lot of money for them is cut in half because you left a 10% tip. What they're talking about is tip sharing because, oh yeah, it turns out the restaurant owner doesn't want to pay anyone else who works for them either. But A, how many people even know this? Like, every person who goes to a restaurant is supposed to know the inner workings and tip sharing policies of every restaurant. And B, to quote the greatest Spider-Man, the one who called Macho Man gay, I missed the part where that's my problem. Like, I'm sorry the place you work fucking sucks, but why is the owner forcing you to give money to the other staff based not on your tips, but on the total sales? Because the wait staff would underreport their tips or just flat out claim they didn't get anything. Again, not my problem. It used to be that tipping was based on service. The better the service, the better the tip. And 15% was like, Wow, you're good enough to have been a waitress at the Last Supper. What do you think Jesus tips, by the way? Anyway, now I need to be aware of some sort of fucking payment hierarchy of the restaurant and tip according to that? Excuse me, waiter, can I see a dessert menu and also a chart of how my tip trickles down to each of your employees so I can figure out what cut the person who cleans the bathrooms gets of my steak frites? It's steak and fries, by the way. Also, the concept of who we tip is hilariously arbitrary. One of the other popular complaints on social media is that places like Subway, the sandwich shop, presents a tip option when you go to pay. I'm only tipping actual services like a restaurant server, valet, haircut, etc. I'm not tipping Subway and coffee shops. Why is that even an option here? I'd argue that, especially these days, people at Starbucks and Subway have to do way more. Imagine going to a Subway, being like, yeah, I want a turkey club on Italian herb and cheese. I want double cheese. I need it toasted, but can you toast it for only 20 seconds? Yeah, and then I want lettuce, a little lettuce, okay? Yeah, okay. And then exactly 5 slices of cucumber, and then pickles, more pickles. Okay, just a few peppers, that's enough. And just 1 strip of sauce, just 1. And then having the balls to say, oh, they don't really do anything here. Same with coffee shops now. You get every asshole ordering drinks they saw on TikTok with 30 ingredients in it, and you're like, no, they don't deserve tips. Only the person who asks what you want and then 10 minutes later brings it to you, they are who deserves tips. It's just such an absurd line to draw. But I do believe this shit should cost something. Here's a story I read last year sometime, been waiting for the perfect time to share it with you guys. This dude on TikTok complains that he ordered a milk tea. 1 milk tea, regular price in the store $6.50, and it came to $22.93 after a delivery fee, a service fee, tip, and a small order fee. Here's what I want to know. What exactly do you think it should cost you to have a human being get in their car, drive to a business, get out of their car, pick up your 1 fucking milk tea, get back in their car, drive over to your house where you're sitting on your fucking ass doing nothing, knock on your door, and say, your milk tea, sire. Again, imagine this in any other time period. Fuck, you don't even have to go back that far. Imagine if you lived in the 1980s and you wanted a single can of Coke delivered to you. Do you have any idea who would be afforded that luxury? I can tell you, it wouldn't be any one of us sitting here listening to this. And anyone who would make a person do that for them would be considered an elitist asshole. Remember that scene in Happy Gilmore when Shooter McGavin wants Virginia to get him a Pepsi? Oh, and Miss Diet? This sets us up to know, oh man, this guy's a complete douchebag. But now, that's just normal. Some nobody sitting in their home going, I'd like a drink. Someone fetch me one from far away, and I'll complain on the internet if it costs me too much for this service. Okay, so, Buckley, this video is way too confusing. Are you for or against tipping? Yes. Listen, I absolutely think these services should cost something. The whole it's their job thing, yes, it's their job because you don't want to do it, so they need to get paid. You could just buy, prepare, and cook your own food, spend 30 minutes to an hour doing that every day, and then wash the dishes and put them away, clean up your kitchen afterward, only to do it all again tomorrow. You could buy the equipment and ingredients to make your own $7 Starbucks coffee with 12 pumps of vanilla, 2 shakes of cinnamon, extra whipped cream, and who knows, maybe at some point, some actual coffee might accidentally trickle into that cup. But you don't do that. And instead, you want to pretend everyone's your peasant when you are a peasant too. We're all commoners cosplaying as royalty. But I also think the tradition of tipping is stupid, while being inherently aware that saying, I would pay 15% more for food if I didn't have to tip, is as stupid as, say, paying $10 more for an item on eBay because it's got free shipping instead of paying the $10 shipping fee. Maybe it's just the word, tipping. It's got a negative connotation now. It just needs a rebranding. How about we call it a laziness tax, or a I don't want to get off my fat ass fee. Maybe an I wish I were a king service charge. All the benefits of being royalty in the 16th century, without the negatives of dying at age 55 of a combination of scurvy, gout, and old infected wounds that never properly healed because medicine was horrible back then. That's gotta be worth spending a couple extra bucks, right?